Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Monday, the start of a new week. I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching or listening to this around the world. It is the morning after the Premier League season has come to an end. Finished. It is over. Arsenal ending it with that 2-1 win at Southampton yesterday to guarantee themselves second. We all knew they had second anyway, but it did rubber stamp it. There was no mad mathematical swing yesterday, and Arsenal finishing 3 points ahead of Manchester City, 10 points behind champions Liverpool, very much second best this season in the Premier League, but we go again. It's all we can do. It's football. You get ready, you go again. And that's what we're going to do. So that's it, done and dusted. Honestly, I feel really weird this morning, waking up knowing that's it, done and dusted. I've been waiting a long time for it. I've got to say, it's not been the most pleasant of seasons this season. It's just been a grind, hasn't it? One thing after the other, constantly. Never felt like you could really get into the swing of things. Never felt like Arsenal really got into the swing of things, certainly in the Premier League. Anyway, so I'm glad it's over. But it's like, what do we do now? There's no football for 3 months. It's always that stage when you get to this stage of the summer, isn't it? It's like, what are we going to do? No international tournament either. But I'm sure it will be fine. There's going to be plenty of transfers and no doubt to talk about because it's going to be a big summer. And we're going to talk about that in today's show because Mikel Arteta, I thought, was really interesting in his press conference yesterday after the game against Southampton. Obviously, everyone's here at the moment. Josh Kroenke was here. Mikel was sitting next to him in the stands yesterday. Some big meetings going on now, today, at the club, next couple of days. Real sort of crucial meetings, I think, in terms of laying out exactly the plan of attack this summer. Not the actual plan, because that's very much already in place, but exactly how they're going to attack it this summer. I think that's going to be decided over the next couple of days. We'll go over what Mikel Arteta's had to say about that. So I think it's going to be a crucial couple of days in terms of Arsenal and what their plans are for the summer, how they're going to do it. But I'm going to talk about the match first. Just do a quick review of the game yesterday before we get on to Arteta and the talks and everything like that. And it was, it was a classic end of season game, wasn't it? I did the review afterwards yesterday, the immediate post-match reaction to my player ratings. So, but I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth today. It was just a classic end of season game. It wasn't the sort of lineup I was expecting. I thought he would go stronger than he did. Obviously, the injury to Calafiori, or not the injury. Mikel was speaking afterwards about Calafiori, and he didn't really say it was an injury that ruled him out. It was just a case they really sort of pushed him to get him back for the final weeks of the season, and they just felt it would be better for him to sit out yesterday rather than risk anything happening ahead of the summer with him, because they very much want him to really recuperate this summer to make sure he's ready to go next season. So we're all expecting Calafiori to start. When he didn't, it was like, what they're going to do. It looked like we were going to have Thomas Partey at right back. You were going to have Ben White playing at centre back, but it wasn't the case. Obviously, Kieran Tierney played at centre back. You had Zinchenko at left back. Partey stayed in midfield, and Ben White was over on the right hand side of the defence. And Arsenal were a better team by an absolute mile. Most of their good chances came down the left hand side from balls in from that side. You had, I think, Marino hit the bar. Marino put one over. Martinelli had one save. Martinelli obviously went through 1-on-1 after a really nice Kieran Tierney pass. Didn't score. Lovely touch by him. Brought it down perfectly, but lacked the finish, which is not the first time we've ever said that about Gabriel Martinelli. But then Arsenal did score, and it came from the right-hand side. Despite all the attacks coming down the left in that first half, it was the right-hand side that provided the sort of, which was the architect for the goal. It was really good to see Ben White get on one of those overlapping runs. Lovely little cross in and great finish for Tierney. It was brilliant seeing his face afterwards. He absolutely loved it, Kieran Tierney, and that was great. 1-0 half-time. You thought it'd be comfortable in the second half, but Arsenal go and concede a corner and concede from it. There was an interesting stat, actually. I should have brought this up. It was by James Benge, who is now back after his honeymoon, so we will be sorting out an Inside Arsenal Extra Time at some point this week. But he put this stat out on Twitter yesterday. 40% of the XG and 43% of the goals that Arsenal have allowed from set pieces this season have come since Gabriel tore his hamstring, which is absolutely mad. That's 8 games. So in the 8 games in the league since Gabriel tore his hamstring, Arsenal have conceded 40% of the goals they let in from set pieces this season, which is mad. It just shows what he brings, not just attacking wise from set pieces, but defending, in both boxes from set pieces. He's so important to how Arsenal play. And it's been a real issue since he's had that injury. And so, 1-1. And he thought, oh, here we go again. Another draw, 15 for the season. Would have actually kind of summed up the season, wouldn't it? If you'd have ended with a draw, it would have actually brought a bit of symmetry to the season almost, because we've come to expect it. But Martin Odegaard popped up with that left foot of his, lovely finish into the bottom corner to win it late on. Just going to bring up what Mikel was saying about the game. On Odegaard's goal, I think it's really interesting that we've seen Martin start taking those shots on again as we got towards the end of the season. He just seems to got a bit of his power back or his confidence back. I don't know what it is. I think it's probably confidence more than anything else. I think he had such a dip in confidence when it came to his shooting in and around the penalty area, and we really saw that. He didn't want to take shots on, and when he did take shots on, he didn't really commit to them. But it's funny in football how just one thing can happen that can spark you into life a little bit, confidence-wise. And maybe it was the shot against PSG, even though it didn't go in with the Donnarumma save. But maybe it was that one that he just thought, you know what, I've got to start doing more of these. And we've seen it more from him. Obviously, the one at Anfield that hit the post, the one yesterday. That's the Martin Odegaard we've come to expect, and we've seen him score so many times. I think that can really stand him in good stead for next season, because it's been a tough season for Odegaard, no doubt about it. But I think he's ended it well. We've started to see signs in the last month or so of Odegaard getting back towards form, not just goals-wise, but assist-wise as well. And hopefully he can really take that into the summer, have a bit of a break now and come back refreshed and really sort of ready to go next season. On Mikel's thoughts on the game, he said, I'm very happy to finish the season winning the match. We wanted to leave that dressing room with a positive energy, with a good vibe. We had to say goodbye as well to a few players that won't be with us next season. That was quite emotional. I think they deserve their appreciation and a good vibe around it. We've done it now. We're going to have plenty of time to think, to analyse what happens in the season, to learn from it for sure, to take all the incredible positive things that the team has done regarding the circumstances and think, okay, how can we now go into that little percentage that is missing to get where we want? Well, transfers are obviously very important, but I think it's keeping players fit is just so vitally important. That's where Arsenal fell short this season. There are too many injuries. You could not maintain. They've done a good job to finish second. They really have. And that's not me saying it's been a good season, because it obviously hasn't. But to finish second, given everything that's gone on this season, I think is actually, when you sort of break it down, is that I'm not quite sure how they've managed it, because they've not been great. They've struggled all season, not really found any form or any sort of runs of form this season, but still managed to finish second. I don't know if that just says a lot about the quality of the Premier League this season or whatever. But, a lot of teams would have absolutely plummeted down the league given what Arsenal had to face this season. On Kieran Tierney scoring on his final appearance, he said it to me yesterday. He said, I'm going to score in my last Arsenal match, and he's done it. So credit to him, a special thank you to him. He's been part of the journey and he's won with me. It's true that he went to Sociedad for a few months, but it's been a joy to work with him. He's a really special character. We wish him and his family all the very best. The doors of this club are open for him. He's someone very, very liked at the club in the dressing room, and we all wish him the best. It was lovely to see him score that goal, and you could see what it meant to him as well. Just to look on his face, it was nice to see one last sort of mad Kieran Tierney celebration as well, because those have always been fun. We've seen them throughout his time at Arsenal. At the end of the game, when they went over to the away fans, who were brilliant, by the way. If you're watching this and you were in that away end yesterday, fair play to you, because you were absolutely brilliant, as you have been all season. But it was great seeing that sort of energy from the away fans yesterday. And when Tierney went over, when Jorginho went over at the end, obviously, it was just a really nice touch for them to get that sort of acclaim from the away fans for one last time as well. And as Mikel said, Kieran Tierney's such a hugely popular figure, and fingers crossed he can go to Celtic in the summer. Hopefully he can stay injury-free. He has done this season, which is mad, really, when you consider how pretty much everyone else has been injured this season. Thomas Partey and Kieran Tierney have stayed fit for basically the majority of it, certainly since Kieran Tierney came back from that bad injury he had at the start, which he got in the summer during the Euros. They've stayed fit. It's like the two players you'd probably expect to pick up injuries here and there have been the ones, since they've been available, have stayed fit pretty much the whole time. Right, these are my player ratings from last night. I'm just going to rattle through them very, very quickly. Tierney was my man of the match. I gave him an 8 out of 10. So I gave Raya a 6, White 7, Kivior 7, Tierney 8, and Zinchenko 7. I thought all of the defence was pretty good. I thought White started a bit sloppily. He gave the ball away a couple of times. I was like, oh, he looks way off it. But he really grew into the game. Really nice assist for Tierney. Good to see him getting on those overlaps, which is something you just don't really see when Ben White's not in the team on either flank. I thought Zinchenko did okay. To be honest, he was unlucky not to score. Had a couple of good efforts. It didn't quite go in, but I thought, Tierney, not just his goal, but the way he played, he still got down on that left-hand side of the attack at times, despite the fact he was playing at centre-back and putting in some good crosses. A lovely pass for Martinelli for that chance in the first half as well. So I thought he had a good game, Tierney. So I gave him an 8, Partey a 6, Noneri a 6, Rice a 7, Sterling a 4, Marino a 6, and Martinelli a 6. It just didn't happen for Raheem Sterling at all. Again, he had one shot in the first half that he put wide, but apart from that, it was just a classic Raheem Sterling in an Arsenal shirt performance, just offering absolutely nothing, to be honest. One area he tried, a few nice little bits from him early on, sort of faded out of the game after that. Martinelli, I thought, was pretty lively, put in some good crosses from that side, obviously should have scored when he went through in the first half. Did everything right in terms of the pull down. Really nice touch over his shoulder. But the finish was lacking. And Marino put himself about, hit the bar with one header. But that was about it from him. Obviously, lots of substitutes who came on. Odegaard making a difference. We had Saka, Trossard, Havertz, Lewis Skelly. So Arteta obviously went for it in that second half. He did want to end with a win. You could see that by the substitutions. And obviously one of those guys, Martin Odegaard, was the man who made the difference late on. Before I get to some of your comments, just quickly, David Raya obviously getting the Golden Glove for the second season in a row, sharing it with Matt Sells, who also got it yesterday. So they both got the trophies. I was with James yesterday, Gunner Blog, in the press box, and he was like, "I cannot believe the Golden Glove trophy is not a Golden Glove." And I hadn't really noticed it before, and it is true. It's like, why that doesn't make sense. Like the Golden Boot is a Golden Boot, the trophy. So why is a Golden Glove an actual goalkeeper making a save? I don't understand that. I think when he said it yesterday, I hadn't clocked. I didn't know what the trophy was, and it does look really strange. It's like, why on earth isn't that a Golden Glove? It doesn't make any sense to me. Just a few comments from you guys on the game, on Kieran Tierney in particular. Perez says, "Streets will never forget Kieran Tierney." AGSPR says, "So sad watching KT leave this time for good. So humble and professional, both on the pitch and off it. Only wish him the best." F7725 says, "Tierney scoring and seeing his reaction was awesome. So happy for him. It really made me smile and had me tearing up." James says, "Kieran, thank you for everything you've done for Arsenal. You're a top professional and what a role model to all the kids watching. Again, thank you and all the best for your return to your boyhood club, Celtic. God bless." And Sam says, "Charles, I had actual tears in my eyes when Tierney scores. He's been through a lot the last couple of years, being so important to us. His genuine reaction of absolute delight and emotion just confirmed how much of an Arsenal boy he is. And I'm just so sad that he has to leave. Very happy that he got to have that moment before he left. And I hope he can still be proud of his time at Arsenal. He can definitely be proud of his time at Arsenal. You know, not that many players get to leave with the affection that Kieran Tierney has been able to leave a football club with. And that's considering he's been injured for so much of his time at Arsenal, which a lot of the time would breed frustration amongst supporters. You know, you even look at how supporters act now with Tomiyasu, who's again a brilliant professional, and is going through an awful lot. And yeah, I see all the comments and stuff like, "Oh, get rid, can't rely on him," and stuff like that. Because when you're not available, it doesn't matter how good you are and how well liked you are. That just leads to frustration because fans want to see you on the pitch, because when you're not on the pitch, you're not helping anyone. But Tierney just hasn't really had that reaction because he's so popular. He's so well loved. And so he can absolutely be proud of his time at Arsenal. You know, he was so integral to the start of the transformation under Arteta of getting Arsenal back towards the top of the top of the league in England, the top of the rankings in Europe. You know, he was so important to the start of that journey. Even if he's not really been involved in the end of the journey, he was so important at the start. He was a beacon of light. So I always described him as that in those early days, a beacon of light, because we'd had to endure so much rubbish before him. And he came in, just played in this old-fashioned way that we could all get behind. He was a leader on the pitch. And it was just the start of seeing the standards being raised. And I think that's why we all loved him early on and have continued to love him ever since. So yeah, good luck, Kieran Tierney. Really hope it goes well for you back at Celtic. Right, moving on now. It's obviously a really important week, this, for Arsenal. Crucial week, I would say. They know what they're going to do transfer-wise. There's no doubt about it. The plans have been set for a long, long time. But I think this is going to be the couple of days where everything really sort of clicks into gear. Everyone's here at the moment. Obviously, you saw it yesterday. Mikel was sitting next to Josh in the stands. He was next to Tim Lewis. He had Richard Garlick behind him. James King was there. The whole transfer committee was there together. And Josh has been over for the Women's Cup final as well, and they'll still be in London for the next few days, and everything's going to be being freshed out before everyone goes away. You know, Mikel's going over to Spain like he always does. So these next sort of 48 hours or so, I would say, are going to be really important in just everyone making sure that everyone is aligned. Like Andrea Berta was there yesterday, of course, as well, sitting next to them all. So these next 48 hours, I just think the conversations that are going to be had at Colney are going to be so crucial, so that everyone goes on their separate ways at the end of these sort of 2 days, and everyone knows what they're doing and just goes out and get it done, because it's over to these guys now. You know, Mikel's off on holiday and everything like that. He's out now. It's over to these guys to get the job done. To Andrea Berta, to Richard Garlick, to James King, everyone involved in recruitment now. And obviously, Josh and the Cronkies who hold the checkbooks and will open the checkbooks to get the deals done, they need to smash it now. It's just that. It's that simple. We're already seeing Liverpool doing really impressive business early on in the transfer window. And, Liverpool finished 10 points clear of Arsenal. They're the standard bearers at the moment. So if you want to keep pace with them and try and reel them in, you're going to have a very, very good summer. So it's all down to these guys now with the checkbooks and with the phone calls and everything like that. Mikel saying yesterday that his phone, he's available 24/7, but there's not much more he can do now. It's a case of waiting to see what those above him can get done in the transfer market. Mikel was asked about all that sort of stuff, and he was talking about percentages yesterday after the game. And Mikel was asked, is it as simple as just adding a striker to improve those percentages to try and get you over the line next season? He said, in order to achieve that, a lot of things has to happen. The team has to provide, the player has to play a certain amount of minutes and games. Believe me, we are on it. We will try to squeeze and think and turn every stone that we possibly can to make this club even more successful. But I think what these boys have done, the team has done regarding everything that happened, I repeat myself, I think they deserve a lot of credit on when he starts focusing on next season. He says now, because tomorrow we already have some things that we are discussing and making decisions on. Everything that is planned for pre-season, the first few weeks of the season has already been done 2 or 3 months ago. So now we are in really good shape. And the moment I start to think about that, I feel goosebumps and excitement. And this is a really good sign. Always, on sitting next to Josh in the game yesterday, he was asked, do you like that? Sitting next to your boss? What was that like? What were you talking about? And he said, we'll have enough time in the next few days to discuss the topics that you are probably suspecting. We'll do it in the right environment. Today was just about the game. It was kind of asked, were you talking about transfers during the game yesterday? And as he said there, we'll have enough time in the next few days to discuss the topics that you are probably suspecting. That's now. These next few days, these next 48 hours or so, whatever it is, all these meetings, all these talks, everything being rubber stamped and ticked off, going to be really, really important just to get everyone aligned before they head off and get the job done. It's going to be exciting summer, no doubt about it. It's been a tough season. It's quite nice that it's in our review mirror now and we can sort of move on to the summer, because this is a vitally important summer for Arsenal, no doubt about it. And when you look at the big things that are going to be happening, Victor Gyokeres scoring for Sporting yesterday in the, I think it was the 101st minute or the 99th minute. They were losing 1-0 in the cup final to Benfica. And then they got a penalty in literally like 99th minute. Benfica had missed a couple of really good chances in injury time before that to win the game. They'll be so gutted they lost this. And then Sporting got a penalty. Gyokeres won it, actually. Stupid tackle. I think it was Renato Sanchez. Stupid tackle in the 99th minute. But penalty from Gyokeres, absolutely cold it was. And given how the pressurize of that situation, last kick of the game, deep into stoppage time, it was an unbelievable penalty. So he scored. Sporting went on to win in extra time. He was asked about Arsenal after the game, like directly about Arsenal. And I'm just going to try and bring up a bit of the quote. I've managed to lose it now. I thought I had it on my screen. One sec. And he didn't say it was a classic sort of footballer's response, to be honest, in terms of the actual question. But he said, it's impossible to say. We never know what happens in football. Arsenal links, I don't know anything. I don't think that's true. My focus is on the games, has been on the games. If the links were true, then we will see. There's no doubt that Gyokeres is going to be leaving this summer. I cannot see any way that he starts next season at Sporting. He's going somewhere. Whether it's Arsenal, I couldn't tell you for sure right now if it's going to be Arsenal, if they're going to go for him, if they're going to go for Sesko. I just don't know. Yeah, hopefully that's going to become more and more clear very early on in the window, because I don't want them faffing around. They need to go out and show some intent and get the guy they really want and get him done quickly, whether it be Gyokeres, whether it be Sesko, or a sort of wild card that we're not really expecting just yet. But this is going to be what the talks are all focused about, I'm sure. How do we do it? Who are we getting? How are we going to go about it? How much intent are we going to show? Exactly how much money have we got? Let's go out and get the job done. Just be forceful. This is a summer that Arsenal have to show intent. Because otherwise they'll miss out on players. And Juan Garcia is another one, a player we know that Arsenal have spent a lot of time sort of chasing in the last year or so. Couldn't get the job done for him last summer. He decided to stay at Espanyol. Espanyol have a release clause on him around sort of 25 million, and Barcelona are now moving for him, according to reports in Spain. And it's basically going to be up to him, because his offers for Arsenal, I think Bournemouth, I think Aston Villa have been mentioned as well, especially if Emi Martinez goes as a possible destination for him. Certainly looks like, according to reports in Spain now, Barcelona are prepared to sign him for 25 million and then loan him out. So we'll see if anything happens with that and what Arsenal do. Is that something they could potentially offer him as well to make sure he can get first team football, sign him, loan him out, bring back Karl Hein, whose loan is now finished, and play Karl Hein as number 2 next season? Is that a way of then getting the goalkeeper you really, really want? We'll have to wait and see. But this is what I'm talking about. Show intent this summer. Absolutely has to be done, because you just don't want to miss out on the players that you really, really want. If you want a Gyokeres, if you want a Garcia, go and get them done, just like Liverpool are doing right now. That's it from me today, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing a lot of support during the season. It's not always been an easy one. Let's face it. I know there's been lots of times where I imagine you really didn't want to watch or listen to Arsenal content after some of the games and some of the draws and some of the defeats and some of the disappointments, but you've still done it in great numbers, which I really do appreciate. I can't say thank you enough for the support you give me on this channel, on the podcast, helping the podcast get back numbers-wise compared to after the disaster of what I did. It's still a long process in that sort of trying to get it back, but the numbers have been good, which is really, really, I'm so pleased about. Thank you very much for supporting that. All my Patreon members have moved over to Patreon as well. I really do appreciate it. So thanks for the support this season. Enjoy your summer. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be here. I'm hoping you're still going to be here as well. But yeah, just thanks again for the support. I really do appreciate it. And I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.